Hey everyone, I'm Shakiba from Markable team and welcome to another episode of Bubbly Talking Show. Bubbly Talking Show is a kind of travel talk in which we're gonna be talking with different tourists and learn about their experience and their knowledge. Today we have a very nice guest from Denmark and he traveled to all around the world without flight. It's kind of interesting, I think. Hi, Thor. Can you tell us a
Hello.
little about yourself?
Sure. Well, like you said, my name is Thor. I come from Denmark. I am 9 countries from becoming the first in history to reach every country in the world completely without flying. I'm traveling as a Goodwill Ambassador of the Danish Red Cross, and I've been visiting the Red Cross and the Red Crescent globally, promoting them, holding the flag high. And I'm trying to promote every country in the world as positively as I can. I've not been home for 7 years.
Oh my God.
And normally I don't have a beard. I shave every time I see my fiancée.
So, Thor, for the first question, why you start to do such these challenges? Why you start traveling without flight?
Well, it's for a few reasons. First of all, it's because it has never been done before. So I saw it as an amazing challenge where I could be a part of doing something historical and hopefully inspire and motivate people in the process. But I was also very intrigued by the prospects of a great adventure. I thought I'm going to meet amazing people all around the world, and I was right. And I'm going to see incredible things, and I'll taste some interesting food, and maybe I'll see a color in a sunset I've never seen before, and listen to some music I've never heard before. And so it's a mixture between wanting to do something which has never been done before, and then going out and getting the adventure.
That would be great. And wasn't it hard for you to start? And when I ask people to ask some question from you, most of them ask about the money. How you manage your money, and how was your income? From which do you have work during travel or not?
Okay. Well, so I would say I do a lot of work, but not the kind of work that people they think. I'm not paid for most of my work, but it's a lot of work going to every country in the world, no matter how you do it. And if you're doing it without flying, then I think there's even more work in terms of bureaucracy.
Yes, exactly.
Coordinating with ships when you need to go to island nations, so on and so forth, buying your tickets, finding out where you're going to sleep. And there's a lot of work in that. There's a lot of work in teaming up and meeting with the Red Cross and the Red Crescent as well. And there's a lot of work in social media, generating content and keeping that updated. So generally there's a lot of work, but not the kind of work that people will pay for. The money comes from, well, some of it comes from my online followers, from donations. People are really, really kind. And some of it comes from me. I had a little bit of money before leaving home, so I spent some of that. But also I do motivational speaking, and I go to offices and
do you have supporters, someone who support you during this travel?
Yeah, so the income comes from different places. And one place is it comes from this company. So they have this company called Ross DK, which is a company which is trying to build a future within geothermal energy, and GEUP, which is the same kind of company, also geothermal energy. 2 Danish companies, and they've been supporting since the beginning, and about 45% of the money comes from them.
So that would be great. And what challenges that you have for start to do this kind of travel?
Well, first of all, I thought I was too old to go out and do it because I was 34 years old when I got the idea.
34 is too old? Oh my gosh!
34? Yeah, well, so 34 for me, I was looking at all my friends, and all my friends, they already have 1 child or maybe 2 children. And my friends, they have a car and a house and they have a career. And I also had a career, and I had my girlfriend back home, and I was thinking maybe it's too late. If I was 24, then I could go and visit all the countries in the world. But when I'm 34, then I thought, well, maybe I should have done it when I was younger. Now it's time to start a family and be more serious. But then I thought, well, someday I will be 44, and then I will look back and say I should have done it when I was 34. So I decided, okay, I'm going to go and do it. And I got support from my friends and from families and some different companies. They came in and supported and partnered with the project. And then I needed to find a date. And I decided on the 10th of October 2013 at 10:10 a.m. And then we had all the small stuff or big stuff, depending, but we needed to find a project name. We needed to decide which platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, these things, and do the logistics. Which country is the first country? What is the second? What is the last country? And so on. And then I left.
Did you think about your road before start? I mean that about your do you want to use bus or ship or whatever, or you just go on a road and start and everything that happened?
Well, it depends a little bit. There are some places around the world where I knew that I needed to have a plan, and then there are many countries around the world where I knew that it would be easy to find transportation. The main thing with transportation is that wherever you find people, you'll also find transportation. And I'm traveling with public transportation around the world, so it's primarily buses and trains and ferries and some shared taxis and so on. And then sometimes I go on container ships and fishing boats and sailboats to connect the dots. But yeah, so people, they need to go to see their mother, they need to go to work, they need to go to school, they go to the market. There's always transportation. And some countries you just show up and you ask people and you get support immediately. And other countries you need to have a plan before you go.
Mm-hmm. And who inspired you when you are tired, when you are when you don't like to continue your plan? Who inspired you during this travel?
I think inspiration comes from many different places. Sometimes I'm inspired by all the people that helped me and all the people I met already, because I feel like I owe them my best effort to complete this project. Sometimes I'm inspired by people who write me and they tell me how important this project is for them, and that I've never given up in all this time, and that I always find a nice way a nice solution to continue and get to the next country. And sometimes that motivates me. Sometimes I'm motivated by the humanitarian work of the Red Cross and Red Crescent, and all the volunteers and all the staff members I met and all the beneficiaries I met around the world. Sometimes I'm motivated by my chance to do something significant with my own life, where I feel that if I continue and finish with the last 9 countries, then I'm the first to reach all countries in the world, and I complete a project which I've been working on for many, many years. But if I quit and go to the airport and I fly home, then for the rest of my life, I'll be the man who quit. And I don't want to be that guy.
That would be nice. I can say that when I see your videos, I saw that always you have smile on your face. Why you are such this person? How you can be? Because I know that it's so difficult to say in another country because of the COVID-19 and something like that. So how you can have this feeling?
Yeah, it's a good question. I have a friend who once told me that my default setting is smiling. So I'm smiling on the outside, but I'm not always smiling on the inside. And I think it's important to promote smiles also. I mean, the world is not a perfect place, and we're not all living perfect lives, and many things can be better. But sometimes we forget to look at the positive things. And in the big picture, there is a lot of good in this world. And most people are really, really kind and really, really helpful. Most countries are beautiful and wonderful and interesting and rich in so many ways that people don't even realize. And Yeah, so I try to promote smiles and a positive attitude and keeping your chin up and fighting for another day and fighting for whatever you want in life, but in a good way and in a nice, decent way where you can still be friends with everyone. And I think the world is full of people who are not smiling and negative news, and I
Yes.
don't
And
I don't
also
want to be a part
media
of that.
didn't let us to be happy because it has lots of bad news about countries, about some sickness and something like that. And it can be interesting for me about someone because you told us that you should finish your work for 5 years, I think. But
Yes.
now it's 7 years and just you are in Hong Kong and you can't do anything. And I think it can be so hard.
Yeah, nobody expected the pandemic.
Yes, yes. And how about the life in Hong Kong?
Well, Hong Kong is an amazing place to be stuck. So I don't want to be in Hong Kong. I want to continue. I want to get to the final countries. I want to be back home. So I want to finish the. I want to go home. But I don't have that option. I'm stuck in Hong Kong. I cannot get on ships. Countries, 8 of the 9 countries I still need to go to, they're closed. And then you have to look on the bright side. I'm stuck in Hong Kong. And Hong Kong is a truly wonderful part of this planet. Where Hong Kong is full of wonderful nature, and I spend a lot of time hiking or taking in the beautiful views. It's a really exciting city. There are so many opportunities. People are really, really kind. The food here is amazing. It's not a big place, but it's also not a small place. So you can, I've been here for more than a year now, and I still don't feel like I've seen everything or that I've been everywhere. I think I'm really, really lucky to be in Hong Kong.
And how about your family? I mean, your girlfriend, you told us you have a girlfriend and you have family. How about them? Did you see them or not?
I didn't see them throughout the entire pandemic because Hong Kong is closed for tourists. They closed the borders, which means that no one can come here to visit me. But my fiance, she's been out to visit me in the project. She's been out to visit me many, many times, 22 times in total. So, and I have my sisters have been out to see me. My mother has been out to see me. My father's been out to see me. Some of my friends have been out to see me. Yeah, so whenever people have the opportunity, then they come.
That would be great. And can you tell us about one of the best places that you have traveled during these years? Best country that when you have time, you come back again to this country.
Well, Iran, of course. I have to
Oh my
say
gosh.
Iran. No, in reality, Iran is a favorite for many travelers, I think, because it is a very, very unique country which offers so much kindness and intellect. And I mean, the things you gain from visiting Iran is unbelievable. And it's almost every palette that you look on, if it's food, if it's culture, if it's the diversity across. You can go skiing, you can go swimming. I mean, you can go to the desert.
You can do anything, but I don't know. People thought bad things about Iran.
No, I think people who don't go to Iran, they hear bad things in the media, and people who go to Iran, they see that the media is not always right. I think it's like that. But Ethiopia is another country which is also absolutely astonishing. It's the most mountainous country in all of Africa, and it also has rich diversity. It's a modern country, and if you go to the rural parts, then it's still very traditional. And the food is amazing in Ethiopia. The coffee is really, really nice. And I like Iceland a lot. I like Serbia. I like South Africa. Every country I've been to, I would like to go back to.
And what is the 9 countries that you didn't see until now?
Right, so the 9 countries are all island nations, so I need to sail to reach all of them. 5 of them are small Pacific island nations. That would be Palau and Tuvalu, Vanuatu, Samoa, and Tonga. And then there's New Zealand and Australia, which are far more famous. and there's also Sri Lanka and the Maldives.
Maldives. I love Maldives. Oh my gosh. And how many days did you stay in each countries?
On average, I have stayed about 13 days
13
in each
days,
country.
really?
On average. I've been to Iran 3 times inside this project, and I've been to Iran 4 times in my life. So some countries, they are logistically situated in a way that I need to come back again and again and again and again. And then I also get to spend more time. The longest stay before Hong Kong was 102 days that I spent in Lebanon, because it was very, very difficult to get the visa and cross the border into Syria. And the shortest stay anywhere was in the Vatican, in the center of Rome, where I was for 24 hours and 17 minutes.
Oh, and can you tell us about some challenges that you have for traveling to Iran, and also the Lebanon that you told that it was so hard? Challenges in visa or in finding your route? What challenges?
My challenge with Iran has been that I'm not flying. And because I'm from Denmark, and Denmark has a really good relationship with Iran, so I can fly to Iran and then I get my visa on arrival. But if I'm not flying, then I need to apply for a visa to cross the land border. So I went to the embassy, and the embassy didn't understand why I was not flying. And I'm trying to explain, and they say, but we have not one airport, we have 4 different international airports that you can use, and you can get your visa on arrival. I said, very, very nice, and thank you very much, but I need a visa so I can cross the land border. And it took a long time, because then they had to process it, and maybe they had to investigate me a little bit and so. But in the end, I got the visa. And then that was the first time I went to Iran in this project. Then the second time I went from another country and a different embassy, and it was really easy. And they were so nice to me, and immediately I got my visa. And the third time it was a little bit more tricky, because at the time, the president of the United States had said that anyone who goes to Iran cannot come to the United States. So at that point, the embassies had started issuing e-visas.
Yeah, e-visa.
And,
they don't stamp on your passport.
Yeah, and I was at the embassy in Georgia, and I couldn't understand why it was taking so much time for them to give me my visa this time. So I'll just wait a little bit, it's a little bit complex and so. And then after a couple of days, I think they said, okay, here's the reason, because we started with the e-visas, and we never did it from this embassy before. So I got the first e-visa from the Iran embassy in Georgia, and it was visa number 0000001.
Oh.
So from that embassy for sure. But there have been many complications with the visas. Iran has not been a difficult country for me to visit. It's been very hospitable, very easy, no problem. Difficult countries have been getting to Syria, because there's an armed conflict, and there's been an armed conflict for many years. So they were not really accepting tourists, and it was very complex getting the visa process. Also, I traveled with a beard, and they thought maybe I'm a terrorist or something like this. So it didn't make it easy. Equatorial Guinea was a difficult country. Saudi Arabia was a very difficult visa to get. Traveling across from, there are 2 countries in Africa called Congo, and the smaller Congo has a capital called Brazzaville, and the larger Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, has Kinshasa. And you can see there's a river in between, the Congo River, and you can see from Brazzaville to Kinshasa. But getting the visa was a nightmare. It was so difficult. Yeah. Many countries around the world have pulled some hairs out of my head.
And how about North Korea? I think it's a very hard country, yeah?
No, North Korea is a super easy country to visit. And you only need to contact a travel agency. And there are some travel agencies that have been servicing and helping people to come and visit North Korea for more than 20 years. And I chose to go with Choreo Tours. Contact Simon. Simon was very, very helpful. And then they asked for different paperwork, and I sent everything by email, and then they prepared the visa. And then I traveled to Beijing in China, and I came to their office, and I had a briefing together with everyone else who was also going to North Korea. And then the next day we went by train, and we crossed the border, and we went to the capital, Pyongyang, and we were well received, and people were very friendly and very accommodating. North Korea is not a normal country.
Yeah.
And
I heard that they checked your phone, they checked everything. I don't know.
Oh, they didn't. They checked nothing. I think sometimes if they have some suspicion, then maybe they check your laptop or your phone. But nobody in my group, I think we were 14, 15 people, nobody was checked. And it was a very poor country, unfortunately. It was very clear to see that people don't have a lot of money. There were not many cars. Most people use bicycles or walking. And the farmers, they don't have a big machinery. They use shovels and pickaxes and other basic tools. So, but it's a beautiful country, and it's full of people, and people are just people. So you can be sure that a mother in North Korea loves her son or loves her daughter just like a mother anywhere else in the world loves her children. And people still joke, and you can see them joking with each other in the street. But it's difficult to speak with locals in North Korea because they are at risk of engaging with you. If they engage with a foreigner, then maybe someone will make a story that they got something or that they're a spy or something like this, and then they can get in trouble. So it's better for the local people to stay away from foreigners, and then you just speak to the ones that deal with tourists anyway.
Yeah, and about your challenges, why you start these challenges alone? Why you didn't start with your friends or someone else? You can't find someone who like you, who can be like you and travel like you.
It's a really, really complex thing to do. So first of all, if I contact you and say, do you have 7 or 8 years to visit all the countries in the world, then maybe you will say no.
No, I said yes, I love it. But because of my passport, I think I have lots of trouble to travel.
Yeah, this is something else. So if I had to travel with someone, then I had to make sure I travel with someone where we have a similar passport. So we have similar countries that are easy and similar countries that are hard, so that I don't have to wait for someone and someone doesn't have to wait for me. Then you also need to raise the money. I'm traveling on a small budget, only $20 for one day. And $20 is a lot of money for some people, and it's not a lot of money for other people. But when you look at that, it covers all my transportation costs, my accommodation, all my meals, and all my visas. Then $20 is really not a lot.
For all of them, how you managed to do this?
Yeah, so it's an average. So sometimes I spend, like today I didn't spend any money. So far I didn't spend any money whatsoever. So tomorrow I have $40. You can look at it like that, right? Or if I'm on a ship and I'm on the ship for free and I sail for 5 days on the ship, then it's like getting $100. But then sometimes I need to buy a visa, and the visa is $50. So it's a little bit up and down. But if you look at it across 7 years of traveling, then it's 50,000 US dollars. And that's also a problem for some people, saying like, how can they get 50,000 US dollars to visit all the countries in the world? And then something else is, it's not fun. Most of the time, it's not fun. Most of the time, you're not free. Most of the time, you cannot do what you want to do. Most of the time, you need to go with a bus, you need to go with a train, you sit for 12 hours or 24 hours or 36 hours in a train or a bus. You need to go to the embassy. You need to reach the border before your visa expires or before, and so on, so on, so. The meetings with the Red Cross, even though the people are wonderful and the work is really important, it's an obligation. So it's not just going to the beach and meeting people and eating nice food and so on. There's some of that. sometimes I'm really lucky and I meet nice people and I eat nice food and so on and so. But there's a lot of obligation. And most people will say that's not why they travel. That they travel because they want to see the world, they want to explore, they want to develop, they want to have fun. And this is not a lot of fun. This is a lot of work.
Yes, and you have three rules. Can you tell us about these three rules that you have and why you choose these three rules for yourself?
Okay. So there are two cardinal rules, okay? One is I cannot fly at any point whatsoever. If I fly, then the project is over. Another rule is I must spend more than 24 hours in each country. If it's less than 24 hours, then the visit does not count. And the third rule is I cannot go home to my home country until I reach the final country in the world or if I quit the project. It has to be one unbroken project. And if I do it like this, then I'm the first in history to visit every country in the world completely without flying.
So, yes. Okay, I understood completely. That when your project will be end and when you can start traveling.
You mean when I can continue
Yes,
from Hong Kong?
yes.
Difficult to say. They have not started vaccinating anyone in Hong Kong yet. And I think the vaccines are going to play a big role in stopping the pandemic. But also people are not respecting the pandemic everywhere. So one thing is the vaccine. People, they still need to wash their hands and wear a mask and keep social distance and use their heads. And a lot of people, they don't really care. They say we're young and it's not going to affect me and so on, so on, so. So if people don't care and if the vaccines do not reach people, then it can take a long time, I think, before countries start opening up again and it becomes possible to travel. And I need 10 more months minimum to reach the last 9 countries. Because the distance, I have a map here. So the distance between these countries in the Pacific, the distance is so great that it's enormous amount of time to go from one island to the next. And then I need to spend 24 hours. So maybe the ship is not staying for 24 hours, it continues. Then I need to wait for the next ship. And these small countries, they do not get ships every day. So maybe I need to wait 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks for the next ship. Then there are typhoons and all sorts of stuff. So I think no chance I will finish this year. Hopefully I can finish in 2022.
Do you have imagined that after finish your project, do you want to again travel but with flight, or you want to continue your way without flying and something like that?
Yeah, I think for sure I will fly in the future. Before this project, I was flying a lot. My profession was within shipping and logistics, and I worked in different countries around the world. And I'm always flying because no time to go overland. In the future, I will try to limit my flying. So if I'm invited to speak at a school or a company or an event in Berlin, which is not very far from Copenhagen in Denmark, where I live, then I will plan it and I will take the train or take a bus. And then instead of reaching Berlin in 1 hour, I will reach in 12 hours. But it's still, something I can manage. But if I'm invited to speak in San Francisco or in Cape Town or in Tokyo, then I'm not going to say, oh, sure, I will be there in 100 days. Then I will definitely get on an airplane.
Yes, when I see you for the first time, I didn't know anything about you, so I thought that you scared from flight and you have phobia of flighting, so you start to do something like that. And after that, no.
Well, there are not many things I'm scared of, but there is one thing which is not a part of the project, but it's very, very nice, which is because I have not been flying for more than 7 years, my carbon footprint is very, very small in comparison. And I think it sets a really good example. And it also shows people that you can, if you really want to, you can reach all these countries without flying. You don't have to fly, but sometimes it's practical to fly.
Okay, and For the end of our speaking, do you have any recommendation for people who didn't travel or who didn't want to see some countries such as Iran that all of the media are against to it? Do you have any suggestion or recommendation for these people?
Yeah, so I think people they should try to go to some countries they never thought about going to before. And sometimes if the media is talking about countries, then there's a reason. If the countries are talking about Afghanistan or talking about Syria, then maybe it's because there's armed conflict and it's not safe for tourists to go. But we also have to remember that these are big countries, really, really big countries, and the conflicts are not everywhere. So if you do not have really good travel experience, maybe you travel a lot, but you travel only to some very simple and easy countries like Thailand or to Vietnam or to Spain or to Portugal or to France. And it's not a good idea to go to a country like Syria or to Afghanistan, or if you do, then do a lot of research. But if it's just political, if it's the media is talking negatively about countries and it's just about politics, then I think people should go. Because usually the media is one-sided and there's a different side to the story, and it's nice to go and see for yourself and talk to people and see with your own eyes and hear it with your own ears and see what life is really like. And also I think it's always good for people to remember that people are just people. So no matter where you go in the world, most people are not trying to steal another country or become president and most people, they just want to finish their education, get a job, have some friends, eat some good food. They want to update social media. They take some photos. They want some nice shoes and they want nice hair. You know, people do the same things around the world. People are just people. And no matter which border you cross, you're going to meet people. So I think that's really important.
And can you say all of your experience in these 7 years in one sentence to our audience?
No. I can tell you the project motto. The project motto is a stranger is a friend you've never met before. And I think that really shows this project because I did not reach 194 countries in an unbroken journey without flying. It wasn't me. I did it together with thousands of people all around the world. Even some people in Iran that I'm still texting with today that were helping me a lot to make things happen. So it's not a me project, it's a people project. And a stranger is a friend you've never met before.
Yes, you have lots of friends in all around the world now, and it's very good things. So thank you so much for being in this episode. We learned a lot from you, and you inspired me also to start traveling, even if we have problem in passport or something like that. And thank you so much for accepting us. And yes,
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
okay, have a good time. Bye bye.
You too. Bye bye.